Hello. It's lovely to meet you. Before you put your headphones on, I'd like to tell you about what you can expect from this walk. If you're here with an adult, they can come and listen to this part too. Today we're going to be going on a nature walk, so please don't begin your walk until you're safely on a trail. Have you decided which direction you're going to walk in? Great! Make sure you're not around any roads and that you use public footpaths for your walk. And even though you'll be listening to this recording, it's important that you still pay attention to your surroundings to make sure you don't trip and fall. If you reach a road or a situation where you're uncertain, just press pause and speak to your adult for help. This walk will be 20 minutes long, and we'll be learning to pay attention to nature, telling a story, and about something called mindfulness. Mindfulness helps to bring us into the present. It can make us feel calm and help us to connect with the world around us. Throughout this walk, we're going to be doing lots of fun activities so that you learn how to notice nature. All you need to join in is your imagination and your best noticing skills. When it's time to do an activity, you'll hear this noise. This noise means that it's time for you to do a task. If you're in an area where you can't take part in an activity, simply press pause until you're ready to go. Great! Now, make sure that you're ready to walk. And if you have a pair of headphones, put them on now. All ready? Let's start walking. When you walk in nature, it's always good to have someone by your side. And it's up to you to decide what I'm like. Perhaps on your walk today, I'm a little mouse sat in your pocket while you explore. Or maybe I'm a huge leaf, bending to protect you from the rain. Before you set off, take a moment to visualise what I look like, and perhaps share with your parent or carer what you imagine. Thank you! I've never been imagined this way before, and I'm very excited to go on this walk with you. Today, we're going to be searching for things to put in our bags of nature. A bag of nature can be whatever you want it to be. Maybe it's a big bag fashioned out of leaves that you sling over your shoulder. Or perhaps it's shaped like your pet dog, with a flower for a tail so that it smells nice. Come on, boy! It could be a big basket, ready to collect all the things you see. Our bags of nature are filled with all of our experiences of outside. And as we pay attention to nature and see things that we like, we can imagine them going inside the bag. Then, whenever we feel sad or stressed, we can use our bags of nature and feel calm by thinking about the memories inside them. Shall we have a practice? Pick a point where you're safe to stop and sit or stand. Have a look around you. What can you see? Maybe you can see a cloud, soft and fluffy like candy floss. Or a tree lifting high, high into the sky, leaves rustling in the wind. Can you perhaps spot a bird nestling in some branches or soaring through the sky? Pick the thing you like the best and focus on it. What does it look like? What does it sound like? How does it move? Is it a bird wiggling back and forth? Or maybe a cloud drifting peacefully? Once you feel like you've captured the nature in your mind, like taking a photograph, imagine putting it in your bag of nature. Good work! While we're on this walk together, there are going to be some points where you'll have the opportunity to find more things to put in your bag. So make sure to keep an eye out. Let's carry on going. No matter where you're walking today, nature is all around you. But learning to notice that nature is a very special skill set that takes practice to develop. By visualizing our bags of nature, we can improve our noticing skills. By improving our noticing skills, we can make friends with nature. And making friends with nature can also help us to make friends with our minds and bodies. When you're at a safe point to stop, see if you can spot a flower on the ground, or the leaves on a tree, or maybe a bush spilling out into the road. Have you managed to spot one? Carry on walking and keep that flower in your mind. When we look at nature, we might think that it's different to us, but we have a very special connection. I would like to tell you the story of the child and the first ever flower. One winter, there was a child who was shy and nervous. Whenever they were alone, their mind would race and fill to the brim with thoughts, until it felt as though they might trickle out and spill all over the floor. The child spent so much time with their thoughts that they stopped noticing the world around them. They didn't notice when their friends invited them to play. They didn't notice when someone spoke to them at dinner. They didn't even notice when spring came and the world started to come back to life. All they could focus on was their thoughts. And they cycled through them one after another, like they were playing on a loop. One day, while walking through the forest and thinking, the child stumbled upon a flower. A bit like the flower you saw just now. The flower was the first one that the child had ever seen. Maybe the first one in the world. The flower was hidden under a bush, and because the weather had been dry, it was starting to wither up. All of its colour was fading away, and its petals were curled. Although it was spring, the flower had come up too soon and was vulnerable to the morning frost. The child knelt next to the flower. Noticing that it had not been given sunlight, they moved the bush out of the way so that the flower was no longer hidden. Realising that the flower was withered without rain, they reached for their water bottle and shared their water with the flower. "Thank you," said the flower in a gentle voice. "Let me help you too." And just as the child had cared for the flower cared for the child and quietened their thoughts. The child went home, and at dinner that night, they joined in with the conversation at the table. The next morning, they played with their friends. A few days later, the child went to see the flower again. And as the flower had been cared for, It stood with its head held high, petals unfurling towards the sun. The child smiled, and from then on, they would visit the flower every day, planting more seeds to grow around it until the floor of the forest was covered in bursts of brightness. Sometimes they would bring their friends too, until everyone had learnt how to tend to the flowers in this way. The flowers multiplied again and again, until all around the world there were flowers of different colours and varieties. And to thank the child, the flowers and nature made an agreement that when humans took care of them, they would help to quieten their minds. Even if it was just for a moment, to show their friendship and connection. That's why it's so important to notice the world around us, so we can be like that child and learn to quieten our thoughts and be in the present moment. This is sometimes called mindfulness. Now that you've heard my story, I'm going to take a moment to let you discover some more things for your bag of nature. One of the best things about being human is that we're gifted with imaginations. And that means we can paint pictures with our minds and visualize lots of different things in exciting ways. So while you're looking for things for your nature bag, it's okay to use your imagination because the bag is just for you. That means that if you spot a hedgehog and you want to imagine that it's gigantic, that's no problem. Or if you see a pile of leaves and your mind imagines they would make a magnificent fortress, you're very welcome to build one inside your nature bag. Your bag of nature is completely for you. I'll be waiting here and playing some special sounds while you explore, and giving you the chance to listen to some of my adventurer friends who have kindly shared what's inside their bag of nature. We'll speak again in a few minutes. Enjoy exploring. What's in your bag of nature?
In my bag, I have a ladybird called Sam. He's my friend and I take him everywhere.
I have captured a sunset and put it in my bag. It makes me feel calm in the mornings.
My bag contains a blossom tree that I sometimes see in the school playground. I like to watch the way that it changes through the air.
In my bag I've hidden a handful of berries to feed the birds.
I would like to include the smell of fresh air.
Before we carry on with our walk, why don't you show your adult all of the things that you have collected in your bag of nature? Make sure to describe them as well as you can so that they can imagine them too. You can press pause while you do this. it's time to start walking home. You've done a fantastic job today of collecting things for your nature bag. When you're back at home, you can imagine looking through them one by one. While you imagine them, take deep breaths all the way into your belly and all the way out again. And you might find that just like the child who found the flower, your thoughts are a little quieter too. While you walk home, I want you to take a good look around you. Now that you've learnt how to notice, is there anything unexpected that catches your eye? Maybe the weather is starting to change and the clouds look heavy with rain, ready to make some lovely big puddles for you to splash in. Or perhaps you've seen a dog running through the mud with a big smile across its snout. If you keep practicing your noticing while you go out on walks, you'll come to realise that there are many things to see that usually sneak by without us observing them. Whenever I come to the end of a walk, I like to take a moment to relax. As our last activity together, I'd like you to try and spot a tree. When you see one, and if it's safe to do so, stand nice and still. Take a deep breath in through your nose and let it out through your mouth. I want you to imagine for a moment that you are like that tree. If you want to, you can stand up tall like the tree. Or if there's space, extend your arms like branches. You might know that trees have roots that extend deep, deep into the ground. In your mind, think of your roots and how they keep you standing stable, even in a storm. Take another breath in and out. There is something very special about pretending to be a tree. The tree you see right now might have been stood for a very long time, watching things come and go, letting the world pass by. And it's commonly known that trees are very good at noticing. Whenever you feel like you're moving too fast to do your noticing, standing still and tall like a tree can help you. And now, lower your arms and do a little dance to warm back up. Now you should be coming close to your home, which means that it's time for me to go. I'm really pleased we've had this adventure today. And thank you for imagining me the way that you did. It's wonderful to be a part of your mind. Next time you feel your thoughts chatting away, just take a moment to imagine your bag of nature and all the things inside it. And you might find that you feel a little better. And if you ever want to go for a walk with me again, you can simply press play and I'll be right here waiting. Goodbye for now.